What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some r/my the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. It's bloody boiling outside today, guys, so I'm trying to get through recording. I'm still loving it though, so don't get me wrong. And let's get in to today's stories. Much love, you cheeky so-and-sos. And this story is from ADVE Reddit. Am I the arsehole for kicking my sister out of a family gathering after a comment about adopted son? Some feel I, 32 male, should have handled the situation, but I don't see how I'm wrong. Me and my sister, 37 female, are not as close as we used to be because of some messed up stuff that happened years ago. I had my son Jesse, 9, pretty young. Months after that, to my surprise, my ex was pregnant again. Only I knew it wasn't me because having an infant to take care of and provide for left me with zero interest in sex. And we found out it was my sister's fiance, ex now, that she was seeing behind our backs. It hurt. Worst pain ever, but for my son's sake I tried to get past it. I come from a family of half-sibs too, so I wanted my son to be as close to his half-brother, Keith. Surprised, not only were they, my ex and my sister's ex, horrible lying cheaters, but also terrible parents. Both got hooked on drugs, only escalated from there. Got locked up when Keith was 3. This particular issue with my sister happened a couple of years ago. My ex got sick. She was scared of Keith ending up in foster care like her, and I didn't want that for him either. I legally adopted him before she passed when he was 6. Not everyone in my family was on board at first, but he's the kind of kid that is hard not to love, so they warmed up to him. My sister never did. She hated that I brought the son of her ex-fiance into the family. And I understood why it was painful, but Keith and Jesse's best interests were my main priority. That's how we drifted apart. Last weekend was my birthday and had a small barbecue at my place. My parents have tried to mend things between us, so they convinced me to let her come too, so we can chat. I thought that meant she was cool with Keith, because obviously the three of us are a package deal. I asked my parents how she would feel about Keith. They said not to worry about it. Again, I took it as she came around, only she wasn't told he would be present. But how could he not be? He lives there. My sister got there and she was mad when she saw him. She very specifically said, "I thought this was family only, what's he doing here?" Loud enough where he could have easily heard, but thankfully he was playing with his brother. My sister was pissed because my parents told her Keith wouldn't be around. And I got pissed when she told me she didn't want him here, expecting me to do something about it. So I just told her to leave, and she's not welcome here then. There was some back and forth from her and my parents. I didn't want that kind of talk around my son, so still made her leave. My mum seems to think I was a huge arsehole for kicking her out of my party instead of trying to work things out. Like, they take Keith somewhere out of sight while me and her talk, but to me, what's the point of us working it out if that's how she feels towards my son? Well, this is still causing some conflict since I escalated the feud by making her leave instead of actually talking to her. Am I the arsehole? And this one is incredibly sad because there's like an innocent child involved, this Keith, where he hasn't done nothing wrong. He just wants to be loved like everyone else, but sister refuses to do so. So her attitude towards him by saying like, "What's he doing here?" An innocent party in this, an innocent child, is just absolutely disgusting to me. Imagine if he did hear that. How would he feel? Put yourself into that poor lad's shoes. I know she was hurt, but the attitude is inexcusable to me, and I think you did totally the right thing. You didn't want Keith to be seeing this, you don't want your children to be seeing this, and the parents are the arseholes too. Were they trying to get them back together by doing this? So that makes them the arseholes too, in my opinion. But First Pomegranate 955 says not the arsehole, regardless of what happened in the past between consenting adults. Keith is a child and is absolutely innocent. Bless you, OP, for having such a huge heart and opening up your home to another son. You rock. Leslie Laugh says, "Let me get this straight. Essentially, the same exact thing happened to both you and your sister. You were both cheated on, and you do a remarkably decent thing and adopt the child that resulted from it, yet she can't even be in the same room as said child. Why does she think her pain from said incident is so much more traumatic than yours? Does she even realize, comparatively speaking, what a petty little human she must be? Dude, you are so not the arsehole, and kudos for being a generally good human. We need more people like you in the world today. Berlin Angel says, not the arsehole. Why did your parents tell her? Keith would not be around. This makes no sense. And then saying you're an arsehole. It's not fair. You did the right thing in that situation, but try to talk to your sister and tell her, here's your kid. And if she does not want to see him, it'll be quite possible you'll see each other never again. Now we'll leave this one on that. What do you guys make of this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for refusing to loan my boyfriend $5,000? My boyfriend and I have been dating for about 3 months. We both love each other very much, and I see a future with him. He immigrated to my home country about 3 years ago and is on a student visa, meaning he has to pay exorbitant visa fees and full fee student fees. His parents do not financially support him. I've always admired and respected his ambitions. He was recently talking to me about his money problems and basically asked if I could loan him $5,000. I'm extremely protected over my money as I work and study 24/7 to maintain my savings. Furthermore, my dad is planning to soon retire from the workforce after a heart attack, so I like having my savings as security, knowing that I could financially support him if I needed. My boyfriend knows that I have $55k saved up, and he also knows that I don't pay too many living expenses besides fuel, groceries, and a phone bill. I told him that I wasn't comfortable loaning him money this early in the relationship. He then flipped the conversation on me, getting angry at me because I'm planning on getting a breast augmentation, which will cost me $10k next year. He called me selfish for spending money on my body rather than him. Am I the arsehole? As they say in Reddit, red flags all around on this one. I mean, you've only been together 3 months and he has the bloody cheek to ask for $5,000 from you. Are you kidding me? And the fact he's trying to guilt you as well about you spending the money on yourself. No. Not on my watch. But Darth Quieter says, not the arsehole, with red flags all around. Blue Ripley says, not the arsehole. He is trying to scam you. Run fast. OP says, man, I feel so naive. I always watch those couples on 90 Day Fiancé and think, oh my god, that could never be me. Yet, here I am. Sleepy Feline says, not the arsehole. You've only been together 3 months and he feels entitled to your money. That's a huge red flag. Don't give in to this pressure. He'll only make more and more demands. Blackberry Material says, not the arsehole. This should be a warning. He's trying to guilt you because you don't want to give him your money. I'd run for the hills because this seems very fishy to me. OP replies once again saying, I know, I'm really glad everyone is replying on the same page. I just think it's so confusing because I grew up in a very poor area and attended public school. Nobody would ever guess that I had solid savings. When we first started dating, he would pay for everything. How did he know he could use me? And more from the BBC says, not the arsehole. It is selfish you want breast augmentation. Not if you saved up for it with your own goddamn money. Well done for being financially savvy. I would say it's selfish he wants 5k. That's no small sum, and he can frankly suck it. 3 months is not a long time, and it's so bold to expect you to support him with your savings. Bab77 says, not the arsehole, you've only been dating for 3 months and he's already hitting you up for 5,000. Dump him. While you're not the arsehole, you have some blame here. This person shouldn't know jack shit about your savings at this point. He knows the cost associated with being an international student. Looks like he thought he found a cash cow and is now mad you won't lend him money that you'll never see again. Get rid of him and don't ever discuss this level of finances with someone you've been dating for 90 days again. And let's have a cheeky one more from Zerin saying, your money is your money is your money is your money. You are not the arsehole. Did he knew before you got together how much you had saved up? Anyways, asking 3 months into a relationship is way too early. And apparently they found out from a friend how much money OP had. Now, how would you feel if you was in an early relationship, let's say up to 3 months, and someone was hitting you up for some money? How would you feel about that? Would you feel like you're being used, or would you feel like you may be in the wrong like OP did in this situation? I think it's a huge red flag for me, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below and we'll move on to the next story. And our next story comes from New Baby Poster 2. Am I the arsehole for asking my family for help after having a surprise baby? I'm 18 female. On Thursday evening, I unexpectedly gave birth to a baby boy. I had what's called a cryptic pregnancy. I didn't know I was pregnant up until the moment I gave birth to my son. It's a massive shock to everyone, and for the most part, my family and the father are supportive. Baby was born at 35 weeks gestation, so there is some NICU time. Since baby came so unexpectedly, we haven't had the time or money to prepare. So far, all we've got is a car seat for him to come home in that's been borrowed. Some clothes and a tub of formula provided by the hospital for when we get home. I felt guilty doing this, but I'm in need of help quickly. So I posted to my Facebook, which has both sides of my family and close friends only, asking if anyone had old newborn items they don't use anymore. Baby's father saw this post and he texted me telling me to take it down. When I said neither of us nor our parents have the money to prepare for a baby that's already been born so quickly, and I will take any help he can get. I did end up taking the post down, but apparently someone already shared the post with a family member of his, who told the rest of his extended family. They are hyper-religious and are now all hounding him. He thinks I'm the arsehole for posting it to begin with. I don't think I am, but I need an outside source. Am I the arsehole? Now imagine that, having a cryptic baby that's called. I've heard of this before, and it always shocks me that you don't realise that you're pregnant until the very last minute and the baby's coming. I mean, imagine that, going into labour just all of a sudden and someone's telling you you're having a baby and not knowing about it. The shock. And regardless of what was said, there is no shame, ever any shame, in asking for help at all. I see it on my local Facebook, new mums who did know that they were having children asking for help, and I see nothing wrong with that. A lot of time when new mums have all these baby clothes and stuff, they don't know what to do with them afterwards. Sometimes charity shops won't take them, so they can't pass them on, and so this is a great way to share, and I think it's always the best way. I do see it on Facebook quite often, mums saying, look, if anyone, I have a bunch of new baby clothes that, they've only been in them for a couple of weeks, so I'd like to pass these on. Would anyone like them? And you see people snapping it up all the time, and I think that's a great thing to do. Not only for the mother and baby's sake, but for the sense of community around the area as well. I think it's a real positive thing, and I think it should be encouraged much, much more. But, so you're definitely not the arsehole here to me, so we'll check out some comments to see what they say. With Peter M89, who says he's the arsehole for being worried about appearance and not his damn kid. Best of luck. Not a Girl says, you're not the arsehole, and I don't mean to offend, but have you considered adoption? Maybe an open one. Let's face it, you aren't financially prepared, and you probably aren't emotionally prepared or mature enough to take care of a child. Hell, you are still a child, and you shouldn't have to give up your future for a baby that you didn't plan for. Just please consider your options. An Antwerp idiot says, not the arsehole, a child is an enormous burden in cash. And since none of your family has the cash or newborn goodies, you need to get ready ASAP for this newborn. And Low Carb says, not the arsehole, but also, what the fuck? Denny Right Sex says, girl, you're going to need help. There's no point in beating around the bush about that. There's no shame in asking for help to care for your child. You're a mum now, and you have to do whatever it takes to provide that kid the best life if you can. If he's willing to provide all of your and your child's needs right away, great. Start painting the nursery, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case. Do what you have to do. The baby comes before anyone else's feelings. And we'll have one more from 1096 who says, not the arsehole, I would go ahead and repost it. Your first priority right now is the baby, not the father and his nonsense. Tell him to step up or step off. Also, go onto the Enfamil Similac Formula websites, may have got that wrong, and sign up for their mum groups. They'll send you canisters of formula samples, 7.8 ounce cans, so decent size, and very high value coupons fairly regularly. Sign up for WIC as well. If you PM me and don't mind sharing some personal info, I can help you with clothes, some bottles, formula, and a few odds and ends. I'm cooking number 3, but this one is a girl, and I have an unholy amount of clothes for my first 2 boys that I saved but won't be using since it's for me. Providing you're not overseas, because I can't swing those shipping costs. Absolutely, and that's what I love, is when people step in and say, look, I will help you out. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Now, what would you do if you found yourself in OP's situation? I can't imagine the shock that person would be facing. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll move on to the next story. And this story is from Critical Yellow 7226. Am I the arsehole for making my husband clean his mother's vomit? I'm a stay-at-home mum and my husband works in a demanding industry. Our deal has always been that I do all of the cooking and cleaning, he works and does the yard work, and we split parenting evenly. We have never had an issue with this. Also, my mother-in-law and I do not get along. It's a very strained relationship, but I never wanted to put my husband in a position where he had to choose, and unless she's extremely crosses the line, I don't want to break up a family. One of our issues with mother-in-law is that she will not eat my food. She isn't a picky eater at all and will eat pretty much anything else. But if I cooked it or put it together, she will not touch it. Honestly, this does bother me because it's so rude. But like I said, I don't go looking for drama with her and my husband defends me as need be. Mother-in-law, her husband and their 17-year-old came over the other day for lunch. My husband has forbid mother-in-law from bringing her own food because he feels she does it just to be a bitch. So mother-in-law will just sit there and not eat. Mother-in-law and my husband ended up getting into a fight over it, and he said she can't say she doesn't like it if she doesn't try it. They can both be very stubborn, and he ended up saying he would go no contact with her if she didn't try a bite. Which I know he was bluffing, but mother-in-law made a show of bracing herself and took one bite. I would like to think she did this for attention, but I don't think you can make yourself do this. She projectile vomited all over the table. When she stood up, she puked some more on her husband's shoes and herself, and then she became hysterical. Her husband brought her outside and she had a full-blown panic attack and was sobbing and just could not be consoled. I was concerned about mother-in-law and mainly about my 4-year-old because he is very attached to mother-in-law and this was scaring him. Sister-in-law was screaming at my husband that she hates him and will never talk to him again. Mother-in-law finally calmed down a little and I offered her a shower and a change of clothes. She seemed really embarrassed and would not come in the house, but used the hose and had a shirt in her car. I was focused on calming my son down and my husband was focused on sister-in-law, but by the time they left, it hit us that our house is now covered in vomit and someone has to clean it. I said he should clean it because he caused this mess and she is his mother. He said I should because that is our deal. I refused and threatened to take our son to my sister's until it was cleaned. We ended up at a standoff for about an hour and he was more focused on sister-in-law. They are very close and she was saying she hated him through text and that she will never talk to him again. He texted his stepdad and said he needed to come and clean it because she is his wife, but father-in-law did not take that well and said some nasty things. Finally I said he could clean it or we would leave. He cleaned it, but he has a little bit of a weak stomach and was gagging. When he finished, he was upset and wanted space, and ended up sleeping in the guest room that night. Now, I want to know what the comments are going to say on this one, on why they think, mother-in-law had this projectile vomiting go on straight away. I sort of wonder, can it be? Is it like she built herself up so much with the anxiety of trying the food and stuff like that? Not I'm saying she was right for not trying her food to begin with, or is there something deeper going on here? I really want to know what's going on. So we'll start off with DH, who says, "This is a wild story start to finish. Why did your mother-in-law hate your food so much to begin with? Why would you invite someone over for lunch who has a policy against eating your food? How and why in God's green earth would a single bite of your food, unless it's literally rotten or poisoned, cause huge projectile vomiting? What in the world? Not the arsehole, but there's some family therapy to get because you all are living in some kind of alternate reality." Knitting Fairy says, "Not the arsehole, he caused this problem, he can literally clean it up." Joint Family says, "Everyone sucks here. The mother-in-law for obvious reasons. Honestly, she is physically repulsed by your food. What the fuck is that? I need more information on how she is aside from the food issue, but this won't change my judgment. Sister-in-law for being immature. You and your husband for even arguing over who cleans it. It should be a team effort. That is not a hill to die on. Unless one of you is extremely squeamish to the extent that vomit also makes you vomit, it shouldn't even be a discussion." Odd Meat says, "Everyone sucks here, you all sound insufferable." Inappropriate Played says, "This is such a strange story. Does she have some kind of allergy? Some kind of mental illness? How could someone intentionally projectile vomit everywhere? I don't know what to make of the story, but as for cleaning this up, I think you should have both done it together." OP replies to saying, "I don't think she did it intentionally. I just felt like this was for attention going into it, and now I don't know what to think. No diagnosis that I know of, but a bad history of trauma that she mostly pretends didn't happen and never coped with." Njorba Rip says everyone sucks here, your husband was standing up for you. Your mother-in-law vomited out of anxiety. It's gross, but you should have cleaned it up together. I can't imagine vomiting in someone's house and not helping to clean it up. I can't imagine my spouse vomiting in someone's house and not helping to clean it up. And I can't imagine there being a huge mess like that and leaving my spouse to clean it up by themselves. And for it to sit there for over an hour. Gross. Everyone owes everyone apologies, except you don't owe an apology to your mother-in-law. She sounds like a drama queen. And we'll have one more from Goddammit Tim, who says, I'm not the arsehole. He fucking brought that on himself by starting a war with mother-in-law. Literally could have avoided that if he just swallowed his pride and let her bring her own damn food. Now, what do you make of this story? What the hell is going on in this story? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and your verdicts on all of today's stories if you choose to share them, but never any pressure either. A huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here and getting involved in today's stories. It means the absolute world to me. And if you want to support the channel further, but never any pressure either, by clicking that join button down below for YouTube or clicking the link in the description for Patreon and joining up there. You are absolutely awesome for what you do. Thank you so much, and I will see you, hopefully, in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.